Good day, Minecraftians. Purple Mentat here with episode 5 of Feed the Beast Pyramid. Last time we set up our latex processing. This time we're going to improve it slightly as well as set up a bit of a tree farm. First things first, we are replacing our fluid transfer nodes with... Where'd they go? I had them in my inventory. Were them on the ground? Did I lose them somehow? What the heck just happened? I had most of a stack of... There they are. Fluid ducts. Ooh. Thought I was going mad for a moment there. We're going to be replacing our liquid transfer with fluid ducts, and to interact with those we're going to need the crescent hammer because we want to get those placed the same way we had the last set. Ooh. They don't just pull out on their own, do they? I think they used to, and I'm misremembering mechanics. I might need to use the thermal dynamics transfer doohickey too. One moment, let me look into this. Right, it has been a minute. Yep, we need to get a servo to be able to move things around if it's not automatically outputting. Which, I mean, the aqueous accumulator would be, which is basically the thermal expansion version of the water condensator, but I'm not going to worry about it. We can just get the servo on there. Ooh. And I think then it wants a redstone signal, doesn't it? That might be slightly more difficult. I wonder. Oh. Extracts from a single slot. Let you even interact. Shift right click. Pneumatic servo, apparently. Which I'm not even sure if that's a thing anymore. Internal redstone control. So I need to... There it is. Redstone ignored. There. Now it's processing. Whew. Yeah, sorry about that. Been a bit, and I did not research the potential changes. This is awkward. Usually I'm better than that. And there we are. Now it's filling up with fluid just fine. We seem to be... Yeah, now we're using our latex faster than we're generating it, now that it's getting a proper water supply. That's good. That's very good. Now we'll be able to make ourselves lots of plastic and get started on industrial craft, but that comes next time. Today, like I said, I want to get some plant goodies together, and that means a plant, there we go, plant sower, flower pot, okay. That's just a few bricks. Let me get the materials together for this off camera. Here we are then, 1 plant sower, 2 pistons, a machine frame, some plastic, some redstone, an iron gear, and a flower pot. And the plant sower works like so. We put it down there, we make sure we feed it with whatever we want to be sowing, in this case, saplings. And I'm going to need some method of transporting the saplings down to it eventually, so we're going to leave this spot clear. We're still using our transfer pipes for energy and item transfer. That may change in the future. I'm pretty satisfied with them for the time being. There we go. And now it just needs to be have some dirt put on top of it. It should... Yep, there it goes. Get 2 more dirt. Great part about this is these end up being fairly fire and forget. Set it up. It will put down a 3x3 worth of saplings. Oh, that's how it works. Okay. Make sure we evenly distribute our saplings for the time being. That'll do. There, and now it's locked so that everything will work out. Over time, it's going to... I wonder why it... Weird that it keeps going back and forth. I guess it's just checking for something else to sow. And then the next step is to get ourselves the other plant item from industrial... well, one of the other ones, the plant gatherer. This one's a little nastier because it requires iron tools, machine frame, gold gears, but still well within reach for our current tech level. Do I have any sticks on hand? I do not, but I've got logs. And there we go, through the magic of editing, one plant gatherer complete. Plant gatherer, you just make sure you stick on the side of where you want to gather things, and be certain to feed it power. You know, this might actually just work out fine, as silly as it seems, to use the same line for both issues. Yeah, let's try that. See what happens. Okay. Let me grab, never mind, I've got my watering can handy. Let me water the trees some. Watch what happens. I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple of drawers right here. But I think I have the line configured well enough that this one line will actually run everything back to the central area too. Oh, definitely gathering. Great. Let me grab a transfer node and see what happens. Definitely place new saplings. Also great. Transfer node item. Oof. Excellent. There. Grab sapling. Feeds inputs. Yeah, that's working out so far. I don't think I want to let it run the entire length because it's going to end up interacting weird with like the various machine blocks along the way. But this should handle our tree automation just that simply. All done. If we ever want to speed it up, we can attach a plant fertilizer. We've got easy access to leather and glass bottles at this point, and then we just need to feed it some form of fertilizer, which I believe we can make the industrial foregoing fertilizer in a sewage composter. So once we have some animals, the forestry fertilizer we unfortunately don't have access to because it requires apatite, which there's a resource generator recipe for apatite, but I haven't found any way to acquire apatite yet. Or bone meal, which requires mob farm, which I could totally build, but I'm actually wondering if it's even necessary to be building a full-on mob farm in this pack. Kind of enjoying avoiding it for the time being. Anyway, now that all that's done, it's time to start building some industrial craft. Oh, hey, look, listen to that. Yeah, the lack of burning noise. Check it out. Our, fantastic. Our charcoal is done. Check out all that charcoal and ash. Plenty of ash for our purposes. Just go deposit the ash and start, you know what? I don't even have a use for the charcoal. We already have an overabundance of charcoal. I think I'm just going to tear down this loam monstrosity and call it good. Because with any luck, we'll never need to do that again. We'll just feed the void monster some charcoal. There you go, void monster. Enjoy. Pack up our loam, pretend this never happened. It's for the best, really. I guess the only thing that we might want a mob farm for would be to get lots and lots and lots of bone meal, so that we can easily generate the dyes that we're going to need without needing to put any appreciable work in. But let me see if there's alternatives to that, and I'll be back. Actually, before we move on from our tree farm, we forgot something very important. the sludge refiner. We're going to want this because the sludge is slowly produced by the plant gatherer, and we want to get rid of the sludge and turn it into something useful. I'm going to plop it onto the power line, pick a transfer node on the side of you, and transfer. Oh, that's the wrong transfer node. Then I want to have to put a servo everywhere. Where'd that fluid transfer go? There we are. I am good at this game. Fluid transfer node. Started gathering the sludge. And there we go. Now, I don't know if this works like the old sludge boiler did, where when it processes a thing of sludge, it also causes a debuff in an area. I'm going to stand here and I'm going to water these trees until I find out for certain. We're getting some saplings over here. That mean you are all full up? Not quite, unfortunately. Let's see if there's something. It might, when I have it on lock inventory, it might actually make it so it won't take extras. I'm not certain. Anyway, it's up to 880 sludge now. Need a bit more. Oops. Oh well. Oh, and there we go. It produced a gravel. Excellent. The reason we want the sludge refiner here is because mostly it produces items that we already have infinite of between clay, dirt, gravel. We can get mycelium and podzol out of it, but we don't have a good use for those. Sand, red sand. The thing we're interested in is soul sand. It's got a 14.8% chance of that, which means we've got a pretty good shot in relatively short order of getting our first soul sand. And soul sand can be used in the resource generators to, you know, do the usual, create an infinite amount. Also, if we want to make sure that our latex producers are running as full-time as they possibly can, we could stuff another transfer node on top of here and have it output here. In fact, I think that that would be as simple as, well, it might confuse the fluid transfer pipes if we didn't isolate the line. We're not going to worry about that at the moment. I don't think we'll need that much that I can't afford that much plastic that I can't afford to do it by hand. Yeah, sapling there again. Don't know if it's inputting here. Should be. But I hate that word. Should? Anyway, I'll keep an eye on it. If it stops, then I'll know that there's a problem. You can also extract from the saplings into your fermenter in an automated way, assuming that it's actually working, which is a rough assumption at the moment. Anyway, I think that we are getting really close to our fill line for the 50 buckets that we need. Let's go ahead and get started on some Industrial Craft. Alright, Industrial Craft 2 is a mod that I used to love. Used to. Unfortunately, that is no longer the case. I am not a big fan of the changes to be more component heavy and fiddly crafting heavy, especially right off the start. So we're just going to focus on getting our induction smelter done. Induction furnace, sorry. And we're going to avoid doing as much industrial craft as possible in our journey through this pack. The big hurdle is going to be we have to make steel, and we have to make carbon plates and advanced alloy. And all of these things are going to require at least a moderate amount of industrial craft infrastructure, which I'm not happy about, but it is what it is. We'll be fine. So first things, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and use the engineer's hammer to make our plates, because I don't think that that one degrades as quickly. First things first, engineer's hammer, and we're going to go ahead and make a stack of the plates because we're going to need them over time. Yeah, the industrial craft one is only 80 uses total. This gets us our iron furnace, and now we need to make our we're going to need a circuit. Simple enough. The cutters are the only downside. Oh, right. You have to pound it into a plate before you can cut it. Because reasons, right? Yeah. There it is. And then we can do one of these and get ourselves a bunch of... or not. It's not like that. It's like this, isn't it? Yes, it is. Just fiddliness of needing to make the cutters and the engine. And I know you can build machines that do those jobs. I just don't see the point. All right, that gets us an electric furnace, which we're going to eventually need to make the induction furnace. But before that, we need to get our advanced machine casing. And to do that, we're going to need a compressor. Which is... okay, that one's simple. And we need another one of these. And what? I'm going to go ahead and make a handful of these. That should be enough. Yeah, all of these intermediate crafting steps are just maddening to me. They don't seem to serve a proper purpose. And I need some polished stone, smooth stone. And because all of the industrial craft stuff runs on EU, well, for now I can get away with just sticking the electric no, that's an electric furnace, not a generator. Because all of the industrial craft stuff runs on EU, we're going to need something that produces EU. Luckily, we have an option from forestry in the biogenerator. And I'm actually thinking that this is going to be what I use to do the 30 million EU, I think it is. Biogenerator works very simply. Plop it down and give it biomass or ethanol. Ethanol being a refined version of biomass that we'll probably start producing in the near future. For now, it produces power, which goes into the compressor, and now we can make our advanced alloys and such. As well as... I'm going to need some form of crushing. I think I'm going to make a pulverizer for that, as opposed to any other option from thermal expansion, because I know it'll work, and it's less annoying. I really dislike the path that IC2 chose to take all those years ago, where they moved towards... well, I like to refer to it as they Gregified it, because the excessively complicated, lots of fiddly intermediate crafting components balance originally showed up in GregTech and add-on for Industrial Craft rather than in Industrial Craft itself. At least to my memory. And I felt like the mod as a whole was worse for buying into that as the default. There you go, pulverizer. Turn all those off. I need to pulverize some charcoal. Bum, bum, bum. And we're going to give that some time to run. While it does, we'll make our... Well, we're going to take a look at our advanced alloys. Remember, right? These require mixed metal ingots. Oh, iron, bronze, and tin plate. We're going to need one of these engineer's hammers before we're done. Bronze. Do I still have any of that? Yes, I do. Can I not smash bronze ingots into bronze plates? Not with the engineer's hammer. I have to make a forge hammer for that. Sigh. I guess I shouldn't have expected any different, huh? You think you've found a workaround, but no! IC2 gets you in the end. There. And now we can make our mixed metal ingots, and we plop these in the compressor and they turn into our advanced alloys. Pulverized charcoal can be turned into I believe it's a coal mesh, a raw carbon fiber, like so, and then 2 raw carbon fibers turn into a raw carbon mesh, which can be compressed into a carbon plate. So, actually I'm already at overkill on the pulverized charcoal for the minimum possible, but we'll go ahead and process the rest. As you can see, this has produced quite a bit of EU off of just the one bucket. If we want to turn our biomass into ethanol, it's actually a pretty simple process. We just need to run the industrial fermenter. Oh, because that's the immersive engineering ethanol. I was looking for the forestry ethanol. But we just need to run the biomass into a still, and for every 10 millibuckets of biomass, we get 3 millibuckets of ethanol. It's basically a, what, 30%? But the ethanol burns for 4 times as much EU as the biomass, meaning that 3 millibuckets of ethanol is worth 12 millibuckets of biomass. And I think it takes a negligible amount of power to do. The main thing is you have to set up quite a few stills to have enough area for it. Your alternative is to use a fractioning still and get your pump your biomass into that, but it's the same ratio. It might be a bit faster. Let's see, 3000 RF to turn 100 millibuckets of biomass into 30 millibuckets of ethanol. Well, 30 millibuckets of ethanol at 32 EU per millibucket gives you 960 EU, whereas this is worth 800 EU, the biomass. So it is still a gain. We'll probably build a fractioning still to do it in the future. Advanced alloy, raw carbon mesh. Done, done. The hard part is going to be the steel. It's a pain. Let's go start working on that. To make steel happen, we need a blast furnace from Industrial Craft, which requires another one of these basic machine casings, as well as a whole bunch of, well, I guess not a whole bunch, but we need 7 of them. That's another one of those little annoyances, you know? And we're going to need 3 copper plates. Oh, I'm out of plastic. That's okay. That's a fixable issue. I've been occasionally moving my plastic over while I looked into the bare minimum I was going to need to do for this. There we go. 1 blast furnace. Unfortunately, the blast furnace does not run on its own. It requires a heater. Electric heater from Industrial Craft. And that needs another... Oh, well, clearly I did not research to the degree I should have, or I would have known that I needed 2 of these. We're going to need another one of you. And we're going to need an RF battery, which I think is mostly missing tin cable. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so tin cable. See how many bits I have in my inventory? Just random pieces of chaff, basically, that I won't have any use for after this. You know what? We're gonna make a box of shame to put all of our random industrial craft stuff in. The stuff I don't intend on ever using again. That'll make me happy. Yeah, you're working along, doing well. Excellent. Wow. I guess it's an extra storage spot. Take what I can get, right? There. And I just need like a bit of plastic for this. So that I can make some insulated cable. And then we can make our battery. Redstone, tin item casing. Alright, so that's 1, 2, 2, 4. I guess that gets thrown into the world because I don't have any room anymore because there's too much crud from this mod. I've got an extra extra tin cables now that those can go into the box of shame. There we go. Electric heater. Up. Iron item casings. Right. And this one uses an even number, so there was still no getting around the extra floating one. Heater on bottom, blast furnace on top, and this needs heating coils to increase the heat output. I'm not going to bother with that at the moment. I'll just go ahead and generate the power and hope that... Oh, currently transmitted is 0. Never mind. We will be making some heating coils, won't we? Because we have no choice. Copper cable around a iron ingot. Couldn't have insulated all those copper cables. Oh well. Alright. I think that's enough. Yep, that gives me the 8 I need. That'll get me 1 heating coil, but you know what? We're going to go ahead and... 5. We'll fill the top row. 5 of them is going to take a total of 40 copper cables. And this gives me 40. Excellent. Now we just toss the coils in, and we put in our iron to the blast furnace, and then we wait, because this charges up. We'll start not currently transmitting any. Hang on, I may have set this up wrong. Be right back. Right, I did forget a very key portion of the blast furnace. You need the compressed air, which means that we need to make ourselves, how do I forget what they're called. The industrial craft, they're cells, that's right. We need some, I guess the universal fluid cell is the one. Yep, universal fluid cell. Air can be done in a bottler or a compressor. And these are more tin item casing. We're gonna be okay, really. Promise. And glass panes. Nothing else has wanted glass panes specifically so far. It's just, this is a pain. This is pain. Luckily, we only actually need 4 steel to get going right now. If I find that I need lots more steel later, I'll do something about that, but for now, this will do. Yep, that was the problem. For some reason it's still not heating up. But why? Because the place that it needs heat input is actually the orange square of the... Lock. Oh god, I forgot that you can't just pick up industrial craft machines with a pickaxe because the game hates you and wants you to suffer. Hang on while I fix this mistake. Alright, now that that's handled, we're going to need to make the proper wrench because I managed to place it wrong because it doesn't point in the direction that you're facing. Luckily, you can right-click to pick it back up. You'll be able to place it like so. And put these back in. It should start heating. It is not heating. Still, you can shift right-click to move you around. I assume that the orange is the output for the heat. Maybe if we give it the compressed air and the iron, it'll wisen up. There we go. The heat twitched. Fantastic. As far as I remember, we only needed 4 steel plates. That's pretty much the only, the maximum amount of steel that I ever want to make. Unless I absolutely have to. But I think that I might go through and take a look at the recipes for all of the other crafts and make sure that I don't need any more steel. And if I do, maybe find a different approach because, God, I hate this mod. It's really, like, irrational, the amount of frustration that I'm taking out of this. I understand that, but it just bugs me. It used to be... I liked it before, it changed, and I felt that the change just made it less elegant and didn't do anything useful, you know? Alright, so let's get the rest of the goodies for the induction furnace. Oh, I don't know why I bothered putting these away. I'm gonna need them more, aren't I? Almost certainly. Because we need to make a regular... Oh, no, we got the regular casing. So, really, the only thing we're missing is the steel plates. Yeah, we're almost done. We just gotta wait for this to finish up. Took a look at the time. That's about all the time that we have for today. I'm not sure if I'll do any more between now and when we're allowed to hand in the next series of challenges. If I do, then you'll see that next. Otherwise, you're going to see us with in the live stream on Tuesday. Probably everybody's going to be handing in almost immediately. I certainly will be. I don't know if Saf or Phoenix will be caught up enough for that yet, because they've got so many other packs that they're playing through at this time. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed today's video, despite my incessant complaining and griping about industrial craft and fumbling around with the new mechanics that I refuse to learn because I'm a curmudgeonly old purist that prefers the old version. If you have, leave me a thumbs up, tell me what you liked. If not, leave me a thumbs down and tell me to, you know, get over myself and be less crotchety. Either way, you want to see more of this, click subscribe, and apparently you need to click that little bell up in the top right, I guess it is, and tell it to let you know about my videos, because I guess YouTube isn't actually putting these in front of everybody properly. I don't know. It's YouTube. They do what they want. I'll see you next time, folks.